Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I show you all my tips, tricks, and techniques as well as patterns and tutorials to assist you along your beading journey. Today I have a tutorial for you making these brick stitch hoop earrings. This is a great project to utilize your brick stitch technique for, and it is beginners friendly and takes very minimal materials. This tutorial is featuring the Good Earth bead mix from the Bead Mix shop, and it looks amazing on these brick stitch hoops. What you will need for this project is 2 4mm silver hoops, an arm span length of size B beading thread for each earring, some wax, some scissors, 1 size 10 beading needle, some gel super glue, and your beads. So I've already threaded my needle and conditioned my thread, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the tail bit of my thread here, and I'm going to take my hoop, and right around this area of my hoop I'm gonna go ahead and wrap around and tie a double knot around this area, just like that. And we're gonna make sure that it stays right here at the very top of my hoop. Now I'm going to take my needle and my beads, and I'm going to load my needle with just 2 beads like this. And here's where the technique comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle, go behind my hoop, right where my little knot is, and then I'm going to kind of squeeze with my index finger and my thumb, just like this. And then I'm going to take my other hand and I'm going to pull that needle through. And as you see, the thread is going to slip through my index finger and my thumb. And the beads are going to start to sit right there on top of my hoop. Now, keeping tension here with my index finger, I'm gonna then put my needle through the bead that is on the right hand side. It's currently sitting horizontal, so I want to take it from the right to the left through that bead, and then I'm going to position it upwards, and I'm going to pull my thread through like this. Give it a little bit of a tug on that thread. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through that other bead, just like this, pull through. Then I'm going to go once more up through that bead that's on the right. Tug on that thread a little bit, holding my beads in between my fingers and then pulling on the thread to keep it tight. Then I'm going to push it back into position. From here, I'm just going to do a single bead brick stitch all the way around my hoop. So I'm going to pick up 1 bead, I'm going to go behind my hoop with my needle, holding with my index finger and my thumb in my left hand. And then I'm going to use my other fingers to pull the needle. Notice here that my needle is going behind the top of the hoop and then through the center of the hoop here, and that is where I'm pulling. Don't worry if you lose track of that bead. You can just push your thread back through, reposition, and squeeze. And then I'm going to go up through this bead and pull my needle through, give it a little tug, and they'll stack together just like this. And you're going to continue to do the same thing until you get towards the end of the other side of the hoop. Once you've gone all the way around your hoop, you're going to stop just shy of the end here. So just for clarification, this is the end that goes into your ear. So just there, I'm going to stop just shy of that. I'm going to give that a nice tug, and then I'm going to pick up 2 more beads from my bead mix, and then I'm going to use my brick stitch technique here. So I'm going to skip the first loop, find the second loop, go from back to front through that loop, pull through, don't get your little tail stuck in there, and then from here I'm going to go up through the bead that is on the left hand side, just like this, pull through, then down through the bead that's on the right hand side, pull through, and then once more up through the bead that is on the left hand side, pull, give that a nice tug, and I'm ready to do another row of my brick stitch. So from here I'm only going to pick up one bead, find the next loop that's there, from back to front, pull my needle through, and then go up through that bead that I've just added. Give that a nice tug. And you're just going to keep repeating that. You're going to start every new row with your starting row stitch and continue on until you have the height that you'd like. For my project, I did 4 rows and I quite like that. Any more than that and I felt it was a little bit too floppy. Continue on until you are satisfied with how it looks, and then meet me at the end where I show you how we tie off, secure our ends, and add a little bit of glue for stabilization. And as you're working through, if your work gets a little bit wonky, don't worry about that. All you have to do is squeeze it with your fingers to straighten it out and you're good to go. Now we're at the very end of our project and we want to tie off, secure our threads and hide them away. And then we also want to secure this so that it's not going to slip around too much. First off, what you want to do is give this a nice good tug, because this is the last tug that you'll be able to give it. And then what I do is I go through this second bead here that's just to the right of your last bead, pull through. Then I do the same for the bead that's just next to that one, just below it, and I go through. Then what I do is I go up through the bead that's just to the left of that one. Then from here, I'm going to take my needle and go just behind and catch that little loop that's in there. Put your needle through the loop and you've got yourself a little knot there. Then you can go ahead and just weave your thread through in any direction that you like to tuck away that thread so that it's not poking out. And then you can either clip or burn the end of your thread here. I'm just going to give it a little snip. And then you're going to take your needle and take that excess thread off. And you're going to take the tail that's left over from the very start of your project. And you're going to thread your needle through. And then you're just going to weave that little tail through some of your beads. And give it a clip. Just like that. Because this is quite floppy and because these like to move, we're going to just dab a little bit of glue all around the edge here. I like to use a gel glue for this project because it doesn't dry quite as quickly, so it gives you a little bit of time to work the glue around a little bit. So I'm gonna put just a little bit of glue and kind of just put it in a couple different places because we're going to spread that around. So you can use a tool for this. I kind of just use my fingers and just give that a little bit of a rub, making sure not to get any of that glue on any of my beads, and really just focusing there on the very inside of the threads. Just like that. Careful not to stick your fingers together. And when it's dry, you'll see that because I haven't put any of the glue here on the sides of the project, just on the inside, then the frostiness of the glue is only seen when you look very closely on the inside of the work. So you still have the sheen of the silver hoop. So all you have to do is repeat that on your second hoop and you'll have a finished pair of gorgeous earrings. Comment below if you have any questions or tutorial requests. Make sure to check out the Bead Mix Shop at thebeadmixshop.com. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials just like this one, and I'll see you in the next video.